I called yesterday, but fill me in. Are the flowers out in the garden now? Is Daddy on the porch? 'Cause all I have are memories, and right now I need more. More of kitchen conversations and laughing just because. All those small familiar things mean more when you grow up. I'm just kinda homesick, I know I can't turn back time. Don't worry about me, everything's alright. I just wanna come home tonight. Sometimes quiet feels a little too loud. Things here are going good, but I need to hear the sound of the kettle whistling down the hall and Daddy pulling up in the drive. The sheets are used to sleeping when you tuck me in at night. More family dinners and hugging just because. All those small familiar things mean more when you grow up. I'm just kinda homesick, I know I can't turn back time. But don't worry about me, everything's alright. I just wanna come home tonight. More of time just slowing down and feeling all the love. All those small familiar things mean more now I'm grown up. And I'm just kinda homesick, I know I can't turn back time. But don't worry about me, everything's alright. Don't worry about me, yeah, I'm doing fine. I just wanna come home tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I have to hear the story about that song, Home Tonight.
Yeah, so Home Tonight is about, I don't know if any of you have experienced this before, but one of those nights where you're just up late and you cannot sleep and you don't know why, and you're just staring at the ceiling and you just can't figure it out, and you start to feel really lonely. And I'd had a really hard experience, and I think anyone who's an artist knows that there's really high highs where you feel like you're killing it, and then there's some really low days where you feel like you're spiraling, and it was one of those days for me. And I was down in Nashville, and I just wanted, for that one night, I just wanted to go home. And it wasn't, I didn't want to quit, and I didn't want to give up on what I was doing, but there was just, for just one evening, I just want to be in my own house with my mom and a cup of tea and just reset and then come back and try it again. So that's when I wrote Home Tonight the next morning with my friend Kelsey Kiliak.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of that phone call when the adult child just feels that they just need that one night. And believe me, it's pretty tempting to get on a plane and fly to that child too.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty emotional moment, and your song really captures it. I'm wondering how it goes from that moment to a song. What's the process?
So I think that happens for me in the writer's room. So I had that experience that night before, and so I had a write with Kelsey, as I mentioned, the next morning, and I just went in and I just said to her, yeah, I just had this feeling in my mind last night, and I just want to go home tonight. And she says, well, let's just write about that. And so then we just wrote about all the things we missed and kind of those nostalgic things about like hearing kettle whistle and things like that for me that were really special and kind of bring me back to that time where I felt really safe and comfortable. And yeah, so it just came out like that, pretty organically after that.
I think about the theme of this day, which is connect. And I can see just by looking at you that somehow you connect to what's going on inside of you, by turning it into your art, turning it into music, and so do we connect. Have you thought about that much, that this is a way to connect something?
Yeah, I think for me, music is the way that I feel most comfortable expressing myself. I don't know if I'm one of those people that kind of, lets it all, show in front of people all the time. And so music for me feels like a very comfortable way to express how I'm feeling. And it's interesting to see that connection for me as a writer, because I get a totally different interpretation from a song than I can see on people's faces. Like, you might think we can't see you, but we can see you when we're performing. So sometimes I can see people's faces, and they'll have these moments of emotion that I can experience with somebody, and it's a really special connection and a special moment connecting with that person, but also seeing that person connect to the song in a way that's completely different than how I experience it. So that's really special, and I'm really happy that I can share that with people.
And sometimes they actually come up to you, they're compelled to tell you their story.
Yeah, sometimes. And I always feel I struggle with that one a bit, especially if it's a sad song, because I had a woman come up to me. I played Home Tonight at a bar a cafe in Port Moody, and I had this woman come up to me after the show, and she was just in inconsolable tears. I think that maybe something in the song had really just hit home for her, and I felt really actually quite bad about it, so I didn't really know whether to say sorry or thank you, but because it was nice to see someone connecting so deeply to that, but I also didn't enjoy seeing somebody break down in tears that intensely. But she had her husband there, and he comforted her quite a bit, so it was good.
And tears are transformational, so that's a thank you moment to you for sure. They can be, at least. So there are probably people who would see you and see that you went to high school, in this high school here, and now you are who you are. So I'd love to know something, and I'm sure they would too, about your journey in terms of being a musician and a professional. And I know, for example, that you actually have a degree that's not in music.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I did a lot of performing when I was here, but it was mostly in the choir, and I was in the drama program, so I did a lot of that. But I never really saw music as my primary focus, and I don't know if that was for me because I was scared of it. I think it was easier to figure out, I think, for me going to university, and I totally enjoyed that, and I loved academics. I went to Dalhousie, so what up if anyone's an alumni of Dal?
And
no
what's
one?
your
No,
degree?
Not surprised. I have a degree in economics.
Wow.
So it's different, yeah. It's not musical at all. But I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoy econ and calc and all that. So that was really, really great, and it was such a time of growing for me. And so I slowly started to, during my university years, I would kind of get up at open mic night and stuff and kind of redo singing again. And I was part of a choir there, and then yeah, it just kind of snowballed into coming back here. And then I got a job, which I was super grateful for, and I really love. And it was, yeah. And then I just kind of performed on the side for a bit, and it just kind of snowballed into a thing, and so here we are.
It has. What have you learned about the business? I mean, what does it take to be able to survive and thrive in this music business that you're in now?
A lot of just, I think, trusting your gut and really just trying to make the right decision and what feels best for you. Being really authentic is really important, and it takes a lot of business. I think it feels like sometimes it's 80% business and 20% singing for people. So it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes. So that's been interesting to learn. But I still work in finance. So I worked there for 3 years. So. Yeah, I had the kind of business experience, so that was helpful.
I asked you when we spoke earlier, what was a pinnacle in your career? What's something that really stands out for you so far?
Like a turning point moment for me? Yeah.
I'll tell you what you told me.
Oh, okay, yeah, remind me because I think I've forgotten.
When you did the national anthem.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that was one of my most challenging moments, for sure. Because, it's just
the national anthem at the Canucks game.
Yeah, so I did the anthem for the boys the other week, and it was really interesting because it was national anthems. There's a couple things. So first of all, I was petrified to get on one of those YouTube fail videos of people who failed the anthem, So I was just trying my best not to mess it up, right? I mean, it's a thing. So I had a bunch of friends message me the day of don't forget and stuff, right? So it was intense. And I've also watched the Canucks my whole life, so for me it was a big moment, and there's a lot of people watching you, and there's no music backing you up, so you kind of just go out there, and you can hear the first note, and it kind of goes like, ah, 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 And you're like, whoa. But yeah, I didn't get the words wrong, and hopefully it was pretty good. And, do it for the boys, get them pumped up. They lost, but that's okay. And, maybe they'll just get someone else and sing it better and they'll win. Who knows?
I couldn't resist asking you that question, but you were headed to the more serious, important question, which is, was there a turning point? Is there a moment where you said, I think I'm going to do this?
For me, I don't think so. I don't think there was ever a defining moment for me where I knew that this was 100% where I was heading. I think it just grew really naturally, grew really organically for me out of just continuing to get amazing opportunities like this and coming out and sharing my music and continuing to grow with people who were starting to pay attention and listen, and I was just really grateful all the way along, like to be able to sing for people. It's very humbling because it's just sometimes I think to myself like, oh, I'm just so grateful that people will sit in a seat and sometimes pay money to a place to come listen to me. Like that's just an incredible thing, I think, for me, and I'm really, really grateful for it and thankful. So I don't know if there's ever a moment where I'm like, yes, I am a singer, right? Like I just feel like Kristin and I write songs, and if you like them, please come watch, that kind of thing.
Any advice that you've received or advice that you'd give?
Yeah, get better at getting better. That was one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten. I think it's just really important as an artist, or even in any career, in anything that you're doing, to always remember to keep learning, keep getting better, getting better, and just always keep that drive inside you to keep innovating and being creative. Because I find for me, once you kind of settle in a spot, then it's time to think about like how you can up yourself at that next level and continue to grow so that you're not stagnating.
Wonderful advice. Thank you so much for taking the
thanks
time
so
to be here
much.
today. We have one more performance to come later, but please join me in thanking Kristin Carter.
Thank you very much. Jeans, karaoke, dive queen, line it up, whole team, but you know what the real thing, yeah. Buck a shot, one night, thrown back, lemon drops coming in so hot, got to make the beat drop, yeah. And when it comes through the speakers, hits my soul like a preacher. Got that Friday night fever. Give me something I can dance to. Baby, spin me around the whole room. I wanna turn it up to 11 tonight. So if you wanna see my hips move, give me something I can dance to. Kissing boys, no regrets, bathroom cigarettes, spending all of my bread, everything my mama said not to do. Yeah, I'm talking Tennessee pours, stomping four on the floor, wanna shake up a storm. Give me something I can dance to. Baby, spin me around the whole room. I wanna turn it up to 11 tonight. So if you wanna see my hips move, give me something I can dance to. Yeah, that's all I really wanna do. I wanna throw it down in the neon lights. So if you wanna see me kick up my boots, give me something I can dance to. Baby, spin me around the whole room. Give me something I can dance to. If you wanna make me move, give me something I can dance to. Baby, spin me around the whole room. I wanna turn it up to 11 tonight. So if you wanna see my hips move, give me something I can dance to. Yeah, that's all I really wanna do. I wanna throw it down in the neon lights. So if you wanna see me kick up my boots, give me something I can dance to. Thank you.